A big political rally, tens of thousands gathered. Pretty routine, right?
Yeah.
But then suddenly everything just explodes. Today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that kind of event, what happened on July 16th, 2025 in Gopalganj, Bangladesh. We've gathered a whole range of sources, local news, international analysis, everything. We want to unpack the march to Gopalganj, the violence that broke out, and the pretty significant fallout. Our mission really is to pull out the key details for you, connect those dots, and understand why this event feels so pivotal.
Yeah, what's really striking here is how fast it all changed. You have this planned political event, and then it just spirals into something much, much more volatile. And it wasn't just a local brawl, it had these immediate ripples and bigger implications for politics across Bangladesh. So we'll break down the timeline, look at the reported impacts, the damage, the casualties, and how different groups reacted to give you a clear picture of a complex day.
Okay, let's set the scene then. Our sources talk about this major rally. It was organized by the National Citizens Party, the NCP, part of their July Padayatra program, which is like a long march, right?
That's right, a foot march. They'd planned this big assembly for Gopalganj Municipal Park. It was scheduled for July 16th, 2025. Supposed to get going sometime after 9 a.m.
And it was expected to be pretty big.
Yeah, estimates put the expected crowd at around 10,000 people. So a significant political gathering was definitely anticipated.
Okay, so far, so standard. But then the sources say things changed dramatically in the early afternoon. What exactly happened around, say, 1:00, 1:30 p.m.? That seems to be the turning point.
It really is. That's when reports indicate things turn violent. Allegations point towards individuals linked to the Awami League and the Chhatra League. And it's worth noting, as you mentioned, the Chhatra League, the student wing, is actually technically banned right now, so that adds another layer.
Banned, right? And how did this attack unfold? What did they do?
Well, the descriptions are quite specific. Attackers reportedly had guns, sticks, even bricks. They seem to have directly targeted the stage where the NCP leaders were and the event itself. Some sources also mention, inciting speeches and violent campaigns from the Awami League side, potentially fueling the situation beforehand.
Wow. Guns, sticks, bricks. Sounds like it wasn't just a spontaneous flare-up then.
It certainly suggests some level of coordination or at least readiness for confrontation. And unfortunately, the violence didn't end there.
There was more.
Yes. Later that afternoon, around 2:45 p.m., there was a follow-up attack. This happened as NCP leaders and their supporters were trying to leave the rally area. Their vehicle convoy was targeted.
So they were attacked while leaving, too. Where did they go?
They apparently had to seek refuge in areas controlled by the police and the army, which really underlines how serious the threat felt at that moment.
Okay, so the rally itself was basically destroyed, leaders attacked. What about the physical damage? And sadly, the human cost.
The damage to the event setup was pretty total. The stage, the sound system, mics, chairs, all destroyed. Beyond that, there were reports of other violence too. Arson, cocktail explosions. Those are like small improvised bombs, and even a police vehicle was vandalized.
In casualties.
That's the grim part. Local hospitals and police sources reported at least 4 people killed, and the number of injured was somewhere between 30 and 50.
4 fatalities. That's serious. Was there agreement on how those deaths happened? Or different stories?
And that's a really crucial point of dispute. While officials reported the deaths, the NCP immediately pushed back. Their claim was that the deaths were caused by the attackers, the ones who stormed the rally, not by police actions like gunfire.
Okay, so conflicting narratives right away. Very common in these situations, as you said.
Exactly. It becomes part of the battle to define what actually occurred.
With this level of violence, fatalities, attacks on leaders, what was the official response?
Yeah.
How did the authorities react?
The response was pretty immediate and quite forceful. A curfew was imposed on Gopalganj. It started at 8 p.m. that night, July 16th, and lasted until 6 p.m. the next day. So about 22 to 24 hours.
A full day curfew.
And security forces.
Heavy deployment. The Army was brought in, along with the RAB, that's the Rapid Action Battalion, and the BGB, the Border Guard Bangladesh. They were all deployed to try and regain control of the situation.
And the NCP leaders who were attacked while leaving.
They were evacuated. Around 5:15, 5:30 p.m., the central NCP leaders were moved out of Gopalganj. They were taken to Khulna in an armored personnel carrier, an APC, with help from the Army and police. Quite a dramatic exit.
Definitely sounds like it. So the immediate crisis was contained, maybe, But what about the political shockwaves? How did the NCP react formally, and what happened elsewhere?
The NCP's reaction was very strong. Their convener, Nahid Islam, called it a terrorist-style attack to kill. Strong words.
Hmm.
And he demanded arrests within 24 hours.
A clear accusation and a deadline. Did it spark wider unrest? It did. The very next day, July 17th, there were nationwide protests. We saw reports of demonstrations, road blockades, human chains forming in places like Shaba in Dhaka, but also Chattagram, Mulvi Bazar, Noakhali, Rajshahi, quite widespread.
And was it just the NCP protesting? Or did others join in?
Other parties also weighed in. Major players like the BNP, Jamaat, even Hafezat, condemned the attack and demanded justice. The government itself put out a statement, too, saying basically that the violence was undeniable and those responsible would face punishment.
Right. And we have to talk about the location, Gopalganj. That's not just any city, is it? It's deeply symbolic.
Absolutely critical point. Gopalganj is Sheikh Hasina's political home turf, her constituency, her family's base. So an attack there on a rival political party is seen as incredibly audacious. It's not just an incident. It's read as a direct challenge, a symbolic fight on the ruling party's core ground.
It escalates the meaning significantly.
It really does. And you saw figures like members of the interim government, even Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus expressing concern. Their view was that this kind of violence seriously threatens Bangladesh's democracy, the whole idea of peaceful politics.
So looking forward, what does this point to?
Well, it clearly signals increased political tension, especially with national elections slated for 2026. This Gopalganj incident feels like a worrying indicator of potential volatility in the run-up to those elections.
So wrapping up this deep dive on Gopalganj, July 16th, it's clear how a planned political event just completely spiraled. Violence, casualties, destruction, and then these major political repercussions across Bangladesh. Really highlights the fragility, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It's a stark example of how quickly political conflict can escalate and what that means for a country trying to maintain democratic stability. It really makes you pause and think about how fragile peace can be when the political stakes get this high. It underscores the need for careful navigation by everyone involved.
Definitely. And this event, with its conflicting stories about casualties and the widespread impact, it leaves us with a lot to think about. Specifically, how we process news about political clashes. What stands out to you when you hear about complex, contested situations like this one? And how do you personally try to sift through the different narratives to get a clear understanding, something to ponder?